Okay, it's Friday night, sweetheart, and I wanted to pick up where we left off last night in our reading, so here we go. If he was going to move in with Willie a while, he didn't want to be a burden. That sounded like his grandma. When the chicken platter was passed around, she took a chicken wing and said, "I don't want to be a burden." When she took the smallest piece of pie, when there was a piece of pie to take, she said, "I don't want to be a burden." Moving in with Willie was Lace's idea, and he agreed it was a good one. Nobody had time to clean out that bedroom upstairs, which was a mountain of pure junk. You could not repair or sometimes even recycle stuff that college students had anything to do with. The best solution was to open the window and shovel it down to a truck bed and take it to the dump for a $15 fee, which would be money well spent. On their afternoon break, he felt Willie out. "What kind of breakfast does a man get at your place?" He said it in a joking manner, but he was serious. "Any kind he wants," said Willie. Was Willie frowning or what? He couldn't tell. He did not want to move in on a person who did not want to be moved in on. He and Willie had cooked many a meal together, but it was always supper, and sometimes Willie let him fire up a pot of collards or bake brownies or whatnot. Mainly he used his 2-eye burner in his bedroom and a refrigerator that could hold one good-sized bowl of banana pudding and a 6-pack of Cheerwine. The freezer could hold a pound of liver mush, a pint of Ben & Jerry's, and a Snickers bar, which was pretty much his housekeeping provisions total. Lace and Dooley, they asked him up for supper pretty regular, but he didn't want to be a burden to young people. "Just tell me what to do," he said to Willie, "and Lord knows I'll do it." They had agreed to split the food bill, but other matters had not been clear. "Keep your bed made up," said Willie, glad for the chance to talk about it. "All white laundry together, all black together. Laundry soap is $4.99 a clip. Don't use more'n you need. Roll your socks up and try to keep 'em separate from mine, don't you know. I'll wash, you dry, like usual." "No problem," he said. He was a clean living man. He was regular military when it came to keeping house. Just ask Dooley or Miss Pringle how trim he'd kept his basement place in town. Of course, Willie was plenty trim himself. He swiffered a mop around his kitchen floor every evening. "And no tobacco," said Willie. He didn't smoke, he didn't chew. Why was Willie telling him this? "Just saying," said Willie. Willie leaned back in his chair and grinned. Then he chuckled, and then he laughed. "I'll be real glad for your company, Harl." Oh, Willie, what a joker. He could have hugged his neck, but wouldn't want Willie thinking the wrong thing. He came in for lunch and hung his jacket on the hook. "The guys will be deer hunting for 2 days." "Deer hunting?" she said. There was the wrinkle, the little furrow in his brow. "Bow hunters," said Dooley. "We've got a bunch of bow hunters working this job." They were just getting started at the clinic, and this would stall their work. Meantime, concrete jackhammered up, a hole in the floor, dirt piled on tarps in the X-ray room. "What can you do?" she said. He said all that he could reasonably say during deer season in western North Carolina. Zero. "Have you seen the truck key?" "Don't you leave it in the truck?" "I brought it in to change key rings." "When?" "Last night." Dooley rummaging in the kitchen drawer, opening a cabinet drawer. "You wouldn't have put it in there. Look in your jeans pockets in the laundry. Lynda does a big wash tomorrow. Where are you going?" "Hey, thanks." Blake, their vet tech, passed through the kitchen from the hall, walking fast. "Sorry." She felt sorry for them feeling sorry. "I'm going to love you and leave you," said Lily, flying in from the laundry room with her handbag. "I'm running late to pick up Violet. We're cleaning the mayor's house tonight, and she's catering a party on Saturday. 10 dozen ham biscuits for starters. I'll bring you a couple. What can I get at the store on my way in tomorrow?" She said. Her brain was mush. The acrylics and brushes and all the supplies had just arrived by UPS. She was opening the boxes on the kitchen table, and Jack was fidgety, and the little pug they thought was so sweet had just picked a raging fight with Bone Meal, their oldest farm dog. "Okay," said Dooley. "Gotta go." He said something else, but she couldn't hear. "Love you," she said. "Love you back." "Corn," she told Lily. 2 cans of corn, no GMO, and a carton of cashew milk and granola and blueberries. Corn, cashew milk, granola, blueberries. Plus furniture polish. I've got to do something with your living room. It looks like it ought to be boarded up. Polish can't fix the living room. At least it'll look like somebody's been in there. If I could sew, I'd make slipcovers for the whole mess. Maybe they would put it all in the yard sale. The old Beamer could be parked at the road, flanked by a couple of armchairs with their quantity puzzled look. Quaintly puzzled look, sorry. Where's Dad going? I have no idea. I could have gone with him. You'll be helping me carry things up to heaven. Paint, big time. Brushes, a lot of brushes. 2 rollers. It was all real, starting now. I could feed the kittens. Not yet. I have to heat their milk. 2 huge staple guns, staples, and butter, she called after Lily, unsalted, and cocoa for hot chocolate. I could give the kittens their new names, said Jack. You gave them new names yesterday. I have a better idea. He went to the box and squatted beside it, pointing at each nearly hairless newborn. Moogie, Boogie, Frank, Bobo, and you can be Pookie. Or you could be Boogie, and the one that was whiskers can be Moogie. She heard Lily leave by the front door as Amanda came in the back. Sorry, said Amanda, I just hate doing this. Everybody hated trooping through their kitchen and down the hall to take care of business. But she hated it more. Her house was a zoo. Amen, she said, closing Jack's long, rambling bedtime prayer. Amen, he said, petulant. You say amen too, Charlie, he shouted at Charlie, who was sleeping on the foot of his bed. Say amen. Charlie looked up, blinked. Don't speak like that, she said. You're being rude and silly. I want Charlie to say amen. You know very well that Charlie can't say amen. I suggest you apologize for shouting at her. Jack was exhausted and she was frightened and angry. For a moment she thought he would cry. She could see it coming, but he didn't. A sigh of self-pity. I'm sorry, Charlie. Charlie jumped down and slunk into her crate. Charlie is your best friend. She will protect you and love you always, no matter what. Never be hurtful to her. Are you mad at me, Mom? No. Are you sad at me? Absolutely not. Jack rubbed his eyes. When is Dad ever coming home? Soon. She hated lying to her son, but how could she say, I have no idea when your dad's coming home? It's been hours. I'm frantic. I'm furious. Children did not need to bear the burden of grown-up craziness. Let's lie down now and tell your story. They read books together during the day, but he liked telling his own story at night. Now that he had learned it perfectly, they would begin reading to him at bedtime from the box of books her mom and Cynthia had sent. The Berenstain Bears and the Spooky Old Tree, and Mouse Soup, and If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, and the Velveteen Rabbit. Even so, his own story was a liturgy that soothed when he was overstimulated and gave confidence when he was hurt or out of sorts. Maybe there would always be times when his own story, with its changes and evolutions, would be the best story. Let's look out the window at our stars, okay? Deep breath, in through the nose and out through the mouth, okay? Hold hands. Jack made all the breath gush out of his lungs and gulped air and fell back under the pillow. Here we go. This is Jack's story, the story of a forever family. Jack lives in a farmhouse, he said, with green shutters, with Mom and Dad. Next door is the Kavanaugh Animal Wellness Clinic, where Dad is the doctor for dogs and cats and sheep and sometimes chickens, and even a goat, and the big things with long eyelashes, which is llamas with 2 L's. Jack loves his big old slobbery dog named Charlie, who loves him back and protects him. A lot of people work on the farm named Meadowgate. And his home phone number is 26697, I forgot. He repeated the 2 numbers she told him, then said it all over again. He did not like to forget the numbers or get them wrong. Besides us, the people at our farm are, he liked to say this part in his loud voice, Willie and Harley and Lily and Uncle Doc Owen and Amanda and Blake. Very good, perfect. Every day Jack does what? Pulls Charlie in the wagon, goes with Dad to see the heifers and choo-choo, learns to talk better and not say ain't, he shrugged. Hangs out with my mom and sometimes Amanda, plays with my dump trucks and stuff. Jack has 4 grandparents and they all live in Mitford. He held up 4 fingers and named each finger. Grandpa Tim, Granny C, Grandpa Hoppy, and Granny O. And my uncles are Uncle Pooh, Uncle Sammy, Uncle Kenny, Uncle Walter, and Uncle Doc Owen, who is a fake uncle, but I let him be real. 5 uncles. How many fingers? He held up 5. Remember Uncle Henry in Mississippi? Uncle Henry, 6 uncles. And my aunts are Aunt Jess and Aunt Julie. 2 was all. Just as she said, they were short on aunts. Jack's cousins are Etta and Ethan, and my fake cousin, Rebecca Jane. He held up 3 fingers. 3 cousins. I would like to have this many. He held up 10 fingers. Soon Jack's last name will be, he yawned big and squeezed his eyes shut and spelled Kavnah. She didn't tell him that he left out 2 letters tonight. When it's my name forever, I can have a pony or a bike, he yawned again. Or maybe a Lego set with a barn and tractor or an iPad. Or maybe it could be a huge big dinosaur that you put together with help from your family like in the catalog. He couldn't keep his eyes open any longer. Or it could be a TV in my room. The sweet opiate of his liturgy was working, and it was good. She lay beside her son and listened to his breathing, so easy and natural, unlike hers, which was shallow and uneven. Where was Dooley? Nobody knew. Why couldn't she reach him? Why wouldn't he answer his phone or text her back? Why hadn't she listened when he said where he was going? Or did he even say? He found his keys, that's all she knew. She had called Blake, but he didn't pick up. Harley and Willie were at Jake's place, celebrating Harley's upcoming move-in, and didn't have cell phones. She had tried Jake's, but the line was constantly busy, as Jake liked to leave it off the hook and hang out with his customers. Amanda didn't know where Doc Owen was. There was a lot going on today, she said, and they hadn't communicated as they usually did. Should she call the county police? Dooley was usually home at 5:30 unless he was needed at the clinic. She had texted Dooley at 6:30, 7, and 7:15, called him at 7:30 and 8, and now it was 8:40. The supper was in the toaster oven on warm, but it wouldn't be good now. He would want cereal. Why would he do this, being more than 3 hours late and not letting her know? It was the kind of thing that had broken them up twice. The second time had almost been the end. She had felt she would die from the pain they inflicted on each other. Out of hurt and anger and complete frustration, she had punched him. But she would never do that again, no matter what. A kick, a slap, a punch, a blow, all had been used by her biological father to terrify and intimidate her. She would not imagine the worst. She refused. But the curve, if it was the curve, somebody would have come. She saw herself opening the front door and the county police standing there and the car in the yard with its flashing light. No, Dooley was her heart, her soul, her blood. She prayed again. Her head had been a fog bucket for days. All that was up there was a huge roll of blank canvas. Did he mention that Joanna Rivers had something for sale? Maybe he'd gone over to her place. Joanna was beautiful and tall. Dooley liked tall girls. She had met her only once and wondered how she could make farm calls and wrangle big animals and still look stylish even with mud on her boots. But she would not go there. Going there was a guaranteed disaster. 8:45. Her heart was racing. She couldn't lie here and do nothing. Teddy sat still while she snapped on the leash and took him downstairs and out to the yard. She kept her eyes on the dark road, looking fierce and resolute, as if that could produce headlights, and the sound of the truck. Well, that's a stopping place, so stay tuned Saturday night. I'm going to pick it up there. I love you, baby. Good night.